Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to have a look at debugging. Debugging is used when you have some code that is executing correctly, but you think the output is actually incorrect. So this is code that will run when you press start, but when you see the output in the console, it might be different to what you expected. So with debugging, you can press in the grey section just outside of the code IDE next to the line number that you want to start debugging at. And then you'll see this red circle appear and the line will be highlighted. And what you can do now is when you press start, it will stop. And the line that's highlighted in yellow, that means the program has stopped at this line. And because this is the first line in the code, then nothing's going to happen in the console. So if we press F10, then we can step over that line, and now this line is executed. So if we use Alt Tab to go back to the console, you can see it says welcome to my calculator. If I just make this window smaller and move this over to corner, then you can see the output at the same time. So we specify a variable be repeating, and we can see that before this line executes, it says is repeating has the value false. And if we press F10 again and hover over it, then it says is repeating is true because we just assigned it to true. If you don't want to use the keyboard shortcuts, you have the buttons pressed into here. So far we've only explored the step over, and we will use the step out and the step into in a second to show you what they do. So now we've hit the while loop, so now we can go through, and our integer is being assigned the value from a function. So if we press F10, it will jump from this line to the next line. But let's say our error is inside this function, so we can press step into or press F11. And then that'll take us into that function, and then we can press F10 to take us to the first line, and then we can have a look at the parameters. So our parameters being passed in, enter your first number, and we have another function that's called from this function, so we can also press F11 again, it will jump to this one, then it will return the value, and we can see that value is going to be returned, but because it's a console read line, we actually need to type something to the console now. So let's press 5 and press enter, so now this function has finished, and if we press F10 again, it will continue onto this function. Just a quick recap, we jumped into this function, and then we jumped into another function. So in order for string output to have its value, it had to go and execute this function, and on the return value of this function, now our string output has the value of 5 in quotation marks because we typed in 5 in the console on the right. Now what it will try and do is it will take the output, which is the 5 in quotations, and try and convert it to an integer 32, and then return it back to the place we originally called it from. So since we're on this line, the end of the function will be as soon as I press F10. Now the function is now finished, and the value has been returned when I press F10. So now that this function is executed and we step over it, now we can see first number contains 5. And then when we go through these one by one, you can see they've been output to the screen on the right. So now again we have a read string from console, and then we've got enter your operator. So if we use F11 to jump into that, then we see the console write message. And then we can press F10 again, and because it's a console read line, it's going to need to accept our input. So we can just type a plus, and then if we wanted to here, if we just wanted to step out of this function, we can use the step out, which will be shift F11, and then it'll jump back to the original part that we called it from. So now if we step through to that, then you can see that the value here contains a plus because we contain the plus in here. And then the same thing goes for this number. So now it'll ask enter your second number, and we can just say 10, and then because it stepped right over it, because I didn't step into it, then it'll just return the value 10, and we can go through like this. So then now we can see what's going to happen. So we have result is initialized to 0, input correct initialized to true, and then we have our 5 plus 10 inside our variables, which is first number, and then a plus sign in quotation marks as a string, and then our second number is 10, so we can see that all of these values that we've entered have actually been indeed correct. And then this function will just compare all of these three parameters to make sure any of these is equal to the operator input. So because we've typed a plus, it should return true when we do this condition. So if we press F10, we can see it has indeed went inside here, which means that one of these three have matched the value of operator input. And of course, because this is a plus, and we have a plus in quotation marks here, then this plus has matched with the plus that's inside operator input, and then we can take the first number and the second number and then store into result, so we can see that it is indeed 15. And because we need to output into the screen, we just need to assign operator output equals to a plus sign. And then once we've finished this section, because we're in an if, else if, and all of these change are else ifs, then we jump all the way down to here. So now we've essentially just skipped checking for minus, divide and multiply, and the else option, which means if you type something other than the options that are available, because it's an else if. So you can see where your program flows. So now it says here, if the input is correct, which it is because it says true, then we should go into the first path, which it does, and then it'll just be printing out the result, the first number and the second number added together, as you can see here. And then it doesn't need to print the else out because we've already went down one of the paths. And then again, it will ask us, do you want to calculate something else? So now we need to step over that, and I will just respond n to that, and then it will store that in here into repeat input. You can see n there. So if you wanted to know what would happen if you use to lower onto a variable, what you can do is if you come down to here and you have the watch stack, you can actually take this code here and Control C and copy it and go into the watch and double click into this gap, and then you can paste it into there, and it will tell you that the to lower value of repeat input is indeed n. Because our n variable is already lowercase, then the to lower will return lowercase. If the read input was a uppercase n, then when you look at the watch variable and see that repeat input dot to lower, that will also be a lowercase n because now it's been converted. So now we can take this whole thing and just say, if the repeat input lowered contains the letter y, then we store it in here. So if we step over that, we can see that is repeating is now false because that is indeed false, that it doesn't contain y. So then it's false, and then it'll go back to the start of the while loop. The while loop will check the is repeating value, which is false, and then we've pressed F10 again. You'll see it's skipped the entire while loop now because we've changed our is repeating to false. And then just at the end, it will output thank you for using this calculator. And if we step over that using F10, you can see it's being printed here on the right. And then the console.writeline will just stop the program once I press enter. There's also a couple of things that you can do. So once you've stopped here and you want to change and jump to another section because you know that your code is breaking over here, then you can just put the breakpoint here, and then if you want to jump instead of stepping through all of these lines, you can either press the continue button or press 5 on your keyboard, and then you can continue using the calculator until you hit this line, and then it'll breakpoint like this, which is perfect. We also have something called the immediate window, which lets you just type in values into here and it'll tell you what the values are. So we can see result is equal to 0, and we can type second number and just press enter, and we see second number is 10. This is a shorthand way of just hovering over the variables. The reason why this is helpful is if you have a really big program and you want to see all the different variables, then it might be nice to be able to type them in if you already know what they are called. And if you want to add them to this watch stack, then what you can do is you can type first number and then type second number and then use the operator output. And then if we just restart the program, we can see this demonstrated. So if we open the watch, but if we just keep it pinned, then what we can do, so we can type our first number, our plus, and our 10, and then as soon as it hits that, we can see that these variables have now been populated. So if you know you're going to be watching a lot of variables often to make sure they have the right values, you can type them in the watch list instead of going through and hovering over all the different numbers. You can just type them in here, and then it will always just update if these numbers were to change in the future. So now if we use result, so I can copy result into here, we can see result is 0, and then once I step over it and result gets assigned, you see this automatically gets changed, and you can see it's highlighted in red, which means it's recently just been changed. If you want to add a variable to the watch list without having to copy it down here, you can double click on it, then right click and type add watch, and it will just assign it down here automatically for you. So just a quick recap, if you want to place a breakpoint, then press to the left of the code IDE where you just have this little grey field. You can use the components up here in the top, where it says step into, step over, and step out. Step over is used to go from line to line, step into is used when you have a function that you want to go inside of, and step out is when, if you're in this function for example, and you've executed line 1, and you've made sure that everything else makes sense, and you don't want to go through the rest of the lines in the function, if it's a really big function, then you can press Shift F11, or you can press the step out function, and it'll jump back to where you called the function, back up here. And then you can continue to use F10 or step over to go through the rest of the lines, and make sure to use the watch list and the immediate window to help you to not repeat yourself constantly. Having items in the watch list means that you don't have to continuously hover over items just to see their values. Thank you for tuning in, I hope this video helped. I'm going to be making a C# course coming up soon, so keep your eye out. In the meantime, if you want to check out my Patreon to support the channel, I'd greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.